As we continue in Philippians, I'm taken by the instructions by the Apostle Paul, that he tells the church what has happened to him being in prison, being locked up, is actually served to advance the gospel. And he says, I will continue to rejoice. Of course, the whole letter is full of joy and rejoicing. But he says, even my imprisonment hasn't stopped the gospel. His letter is so full of joy. This isn't just spin doctoring by him. He isn't just trying to make the best of a very difficult situation. It's not just a brave face. It's real that Paul, despite his suffering and what he faces, is still rejoicing in God and rejoicing what the Lord is doing, even despite what's happening to him. He writes in a pretty raw kind of way about what he faces. He knows he's facing the potential of execution. It's a life and death situation for him. He does identify with the suffering and the persecuted, and he's not denying any of that. He's living through it and is very real about it, and identifies with it, yet he's still full of rejoicing. He hasn't in any sense lost heart. He's real. He asks for their prayers for deliverance. He's grateful for their gift. He's thrilled that they've sent Epaphroditus to him, and he's going to send him back with a good report. He hopes to send Timothy as soon as he can. You see this connection, but through it all, he is rejoicing. He does not shirk from suffering. He tells them, live in a manner worthy of the gospel, no matter what happens. I mean, if they kill me, rejoice in God. If I'm released, he says, rejoice in God. So whatever you face, whatever I face right now, we are called to victory, we are called to rejoicing, we are called to joy, no matter what. That's not a denial of suffering. There is a place for lament, there is a place for grief, but over it all, we are so grateful and thankful and ready to praise God. He wants their fellowship in suffering, but he tells them nothing can chain up the gospel. Isn't that incredible? Nothing can chain up the gospel. You know, as I read and as I'm in touch with people, I know that the church around the world is suffering. I know there's parts of the church, particularly in Africa right now, are on the brink, and there's many overwhelming circumstances. The world suffers, but we are not overwhelmed, for Christ told us he has overcome the world. God is working. He's redeeming, he's renewing, he's saving, he's uplifting, he's transforming, even in the hardest of times. This is one of the great themes of the letter. My brothers and sisters, be encouraged. God is mightily at work, and it is a blessing to be in him.